Support staff. We all have them in our lives in some way. These are the people that help make whatever it is that we are doing either easier, run smoother, take care of the little things, the things that we don't need to be taken care of, somebody else needs to. Whatever role you want to talk about, we have people in our lives who are making our jobs, our role in whatever realm you would be thinking of right now, in making that easier on us or better for us. So here's the big question. How do you treat them? How do you treat those people who make life better for you and simpler for you? I imagine most of you right now are saying, I treat them great. Do you? And I'm not casting aspersions on you. I'm just asking you, do you really? Do you go out of your way to thank them? Do you go out of your way to encourage them? Do you go out of your way to turn around and support them? So who am I talking about in the world in which, I do most of what I talk to you about, athletics? Well, I'm talking about team managers. I'm talking about the scorekeeper at the scorer's table, depending upon the sport you're in, the person who runs the scoreboard, the people who are manning the concession stands, the people who sit at doors and kind of provide security, those who film games, in track meets. Oh my gosh, as an athletic director, people would say to me when the springtime would come, oh, now you get to kick back and relax. It's like, are you kidding me? Spring is the worst in terms of constantly having to reschedule games because of weather, and you need volunteers for so many things, and track meets are the worst for that. I don't mean track is the worst. All you track coaches, simmer down. I mean getting people, because volunteers aren't always that excited about volunteering, are they? How much do you thank them? How much do you go out of your way to communicate that with them, your appreciation? I'll admit, I am a very appreciative person, and I'm observant, and I'll talk to anybody. And so I think I was pretty good with this, but I'll admit, I'm sure that I just didn't always, haven't always stepped out of my way to say, hey, thanks a lot for doing the scorebook tonight. I really appreciate it. And here's how I know that. Because of the number of times I've heard other coaches who I admire so much do that. And let me clarify that. It didn't happen much. So when it happens, it stands out. I have seen great coaches who, before, after, at some point, step over to those types of people, or just as they're walking past, say, hey, thanks a lot for what you're doing, or appreciate you, whatever. Maybe they'll go and they'll be handing the scorebook. I'm a basketball coach. They'll hand the scorebook to the scorers, and rather than say, here you go, they'll say, hey, thanks a lot for doing this tonight. Really appreciate it. To all of the people at the table. And it's like, how hard was that to take literally 4 or 5 seconds to make that statement to those people who are probably not getting paid? If they are, it ain't much, and might be come under some fire from all the people behind them and around them, etc. And I have heard coaches do that, and I think, why don't I do that more often? And I'm a nice guy. I constantly go out of my way to talk to people and say, now some of you who know me might be going, really, Scott, you're a nice guy? Because, and here's my famous line, you know what, I'm going to hold off on that famous line and bring that to you in another video, because it actually deserves its own line, its own video. Anyway, boy, I've digressed. But my point is, I think I do a good job with this, treating those people right. Janitors at your school, oh my gosh. Okay, the cooks in the kitchen, the secretaries, these are hugely important people in your school. I have maintained after my first 5 years of teaching. I learned treat the janitors, secretaries, and cooks better than everybody else. And your life will be so much better at school. And I'm not kidding. That might sound like, ha ha, no way. Because those people are so important to a school running right and to you having a good experience. Are you kidding me? Me just being nice to the ladies in the lunch line, and I'm not being sexist, it was always ladies. I'll take that back. John was the guy who ran the cafeteria at our one school for a few years. So, okay, 40 years of doing this, 20 years in the classroom. For a few years there was a guy, but for the most part it was lunch ladies dishing out the food. Me, always, I just like to talk to people, so I'll talk to them, I'll be nice to them. I know that I got extra helpings because of that. Now that I'm thinking about it, hey, lunch ladies, what are you doing? That's why I have all this. It's all your fault. Anyway, I'm of course kidding. Secretaries, oh my gosh, once I became an athletic director especially, I'm going to do my personal right now. Melissa Cahoon, Lisa Yarbrough, if you get this message at all, thank you so much for all you did to help me in that role as an athletic director. Any of you who are athletic directors know exactly what I'm talking about here. But even as a coach, I tried to, I don't like to even say go out of my way. I just tried to communicate with those people and let them know how much I appreciated what they did for me and for us and for our teams, especially the janitors. Now I had a direct contact with out on fields, on the court. I coached football and soccer as well. And so I constantly, I'm not talking about, buttering up, sucking up to them, just being nice to them and thanking them and recognizing the work that they did for us. When I became an athletic director, I did a lot of that work. I painted the fields for our football and soccer games. I lined the fields and dragged the field for softball games. That just became, I'd get the gym ready and all. Now, janitors helped. Oh my gosh. When I was the athletic director in Granger, Washington, I don't want to go down the list of names because I'm going to forget some, but Gary, Kevin, Junior, Dan, oh my gosh. I don't want to forget somebody. They were so helpful. The classic, couldn't have done it without you. I couldn't have done it without you. Absolutely. When I got to, was athletic director here in Livingston, Montana, those same people were obviously not those people, they're in a different state, but the same people, the janitors, the custodial staff, they're so critical. Well, how do you treat them? Make sure you are treating them in the best way possible. And yes, even go out of your way to thank them. I had a boy who was a very good player for us my first 2 years back here in Livingston, named Dallas. Really good player, really good shooter. And so he was a junior when I got back here. One of the reasons he was so good is the janitors would let him go into the gym late at night and shoot and practice and play. They weren't supposed to do that, but Dallas is a great kid and everybody liked Dallas. And so, he'd be in the gym until all hours of the night while they were working, cleaning, doing whatever. When they had to leave, then they would kick him out. But those types of things, they go so far for helping your program. So make sure you take care of those support staff people. Make sure you go talk to them. Those you are coaching right now in a season, make sure today you step out and say something to one of those people. Next time you're doing a scorebook, you're talking to somebody, don't forget those people are really instrumental in the things that we do in our athletic programs. I know I rambled a bit on this one, but these people deserve us making sure that we treat them the way we want to be treated and the way we know that if we treat them that way, they are going to feel, maybe somebody does recognize it and care. All right. I love that message. We'll talk to you again next time.